controversy exploding about this video obtained by the CBS 2 investigators. It just now surfaced, even though the man you see here, Eric Lurry, died after being in the custody of Juliet police nearly 6 months ago. It's another example of police departments across the country holding back on critical videos that raise questions about misconduct. Only in this case, it was their own training officer who blew the whistle. CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini spoke exclusively to that officer about breaking the blue wall of silence.
Erica, the video he showed me is disturbing. Another black man in the hands of police who ends up dead. This officer, who still works here and blew the whistle anyway, well, in our conversation, what he had to say was remarkable.
So he was suffocating?
In my opinion, anybody would suffocate in that situation.
What was your reaction when you saw that video for the first time?
And seeing that video was so disturbing, I cried. Every day having to live with that was a hard thing, knowing that this administration was probably going to do nothing about it.
This is the cop who blew the whistle on what he calls a 5-month cover-up by his department. Sergeant Javier Escueda sounded the alarm about 2 videos that captured the last moments of Eric Lurry's life.
And you, a 27-year veteran, a sergeant, blows the whistle. Why did you think that was important?
It's important for people to know that things like that can't be tolerated by police departments.
One video was recorded by an outside camera. It shows patrol officers and supervisors watching it happen. But this camera inside the squad, 7 minutes long, is the most critical in capturing how Lurry was treated, especially during a crucial span where his airway appeared to be obstructed, lasting 1 minute and 38 seconds. It all started when this sergeant, Doug May, in plain clothes and a hooded sweatshirt, enters the vehicle and strikes Lurry in the face.
Hey, wake up, bitch!
What was the hardest part about watching that you saw?
The hardest part of watching that video was watching another fellow sergeant slap him and calling him a bitch on that video, then going straight for his nose, cutting off his airway.
When his nose was pinched and held tight shut, what was happening to him at that moment?
He's suffocating. I'm no doctor, but if you put your finger on your nose or your hand on your nose that way and you can't breathe.
He says Lurry appeared to be chewing something at first, and with his hands cuffed behind him, starts to close his eyes and become lethargic during his ride to the Juliet police station. Possibly a bag of drugs in his mouth, says Escueda. He also says officers were trying to get him to open his mouth using a maneuver to cut off his air supply.
That's been written in the law for a couple of years. You can't do that anymore, to try to get them to cough up any kind of drugs in their system.
He says the baton inserted into his mouth and toward his throat was also wrong.
Was that a violation of police procedure?
Yes, I absolutely think so. I can't think of anywhere where I was taught CPR or in the academy where you slap a man, call him a bad name, cut off his airway, go for his throat.
Lurry, a 37-year-old father of 3, was pronounced dead later that night at a hospital. But Sergeant Escueda believes he was already dead. You can see one officer eventually heads to the squad with a defibrillator.
There obviously is a lot wrong with that video. And if anybody doesn't feel any pain by watching that, there's something wrong with them.
He says he got the courage to show his face in this interview after seeing the story we broke last night about Lurry's widow, who didn't know videos existed until we told her we got a tip.
What do you know?
I don't know anything. I don't know absolutely nothing. I can't get any answers from anyone.
Nicole Lurry says all she knew was what she saw, the final moments of her husband in the ICU.
When I arrived to the hospital, I seen my husband laying there on a ventilator in the emergency room, jerking and tears coming out of his eyes.
For that minute and 38 seconds. What do you feel while you watch that?
Disgust, pain, because I think about what if that was one of my relatives? What if that was my 7-year-old son? That's somebody else's husband, someone else's son, someone else's grandchild. I was always taught, look at people, treat people on the street as if they were your family. how you would want your family to be treated by the police.
And while Eric Lurry's family continues to grieve, they still want answers as to what contributed to his death. In Joliet, Dave Savini, CBS 2.
Every time the police deal with people, they seem to always defend the worst of the police. They always seem to have a statement ready to combat anyone who criticizes them on their tactics or how they treat people in their custody. And it's messed up to the lowest common denominator. I'm baffled, y'all, because to me it seems like when we say, why are police killing us, right? We have those who say, what about black on black crime? Y'all are killing each other too. And that's just that, you know what that sounds like to me? That says, don't mention nothing about the police killing y'all until y'all stop killing yourselves. Which in any society, you would know that that's impossible because each individual has their own mindset. So you can't determine or know that someone's going to kill someone unless they're doing it, or unless they tell you or give you a sign that they're going to do it ahead of time. Other than that, how are we supposed to be a society that can't kill that stops killing each other? When we should stop killing each other. But how can we stop killing each other as a society, as a whole, if each individual has their own mindset, which means everybody has their own agenda? We're not all robots. That's that black degradation bullshit. We're not all robots. We all can't just say up in one morning and say, the killing's over. Let's move on now to the next step. No. Because, and then what does that even matter? You got white people that kill each other too. What my problem is, why is it that in police custody, we can be killed and they could be defending themselves or defending each other no matter what the camera shows, no matter what any other witnesses says. Whatever the officers defend themselves, they defend themselves with impunity. And that's what I'm trying to get at right here, is that here is another black man who died 6 months ago by these Juliet police, covered up these crimes, and then look at us and say, basically, mind your business. And you ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing for you. So let somebody die in your household or in your custody, and you're gonna wonder why somebody knocking on your door talking about you a suspect. But these officers can literally be protected by the very people who's supposed to uphold the law. Even the detective said that they used a procedure that was no longer in the books. Who the fuck puts a baton in somebody's mouth during supposedly a CPR situation? Supposedly trying to get him to regurgitate something. You stuff something in his fucking throat, a metal baton, a stick that was laying on your side collecting dust and dirt, and you stuffed it in his goddamn mouth. And then you pinned his nose shut and choked him and called him a bitch when you slapped him. Yeah. You know what? I'm pissed. Everybody pissed. But I'm going to tell you this. This shit got to stop. Because at the end, it's nothing but self-defense for us. Because that's all we seem to be needing right now is self-defense. Because we can't even rely on the state to protect us. We never have, and I don't think we never will. Because the state doesn't have the interest in the people. The state wants to be the people when the people are the state. And the problem with that is you got motherfuckers that's still looking at us, black people, people that's melanated, people that's of color, looking at us as if we are scum when we are the natural on this planet. If anything, you should be respecting us and leaving us the fuck alone. But let's work towards that goal. because it seems like don't nobody hear us unless we protesting or tearing some shit up. So I love y'all. Y'all stay safe, man. I gotta get up out of here before I bust a blood vessel up in this joint. Y'all stay safe out here, y'all. Peace.